Welcome to this video on how to distinguish objective from subjective claims. Let's take two claims. Our first claim is this dog is dressed up like Yoda. Our second claim is this dog is adorable. Is there a difference between these two claims? Yes, there is. The claim this dog is dressed up like Yoda is characterized as an objective claim. The claim this dog is adorable is characterized as a subjective claim. But how can we tell the difference? Let's start with objective claims. Objective claims meet three criteria. First, objective claims have a truth value. Second, objective claims have an agreed upon method for determining whether the claim is true or false. Third, in the event of disagreement about whether the claim is true or false, at least one person must be incorrect. Let's explore these three criteria in a little more depth. First, truth value. When we say that a claim has a truth value, we mean that the claim is either true or false. Another way of saying this is that when a claim has a truth value, it is the type of claim that is capable of being true, or it is the type of claim that is capable of being false. For example, the claim 2 plus 2 equals 4 has a truth value. Why? Because the claim is true. Therefore, its truth value is truth. Likewise, the claim 1 plus 1 equals 3 has a truth value. In this case, the claim is false, so its truth value is falsity. What this means is that truth value does not necessarily mean true. It just means the claim is either true, alternatively, it is false. Taking a look at our original objective claim, this dog is dressed up like Yoda, we have to determine whether this claim has a truth value. Yes, it certainly does. Either it is true that this dog is dressed up like Yoda, or it is not true. In this case, we would probably all agree that it is true, and therefore its truth value is truth. Let's take a look at our second criteria. We can agree upon a method for determining whether the claim is true or false. So can we do that in this case? Sure. It's probably easy to just compare this dog to other dogs and to Yoda to determine whether it's true this dog is dressed up like Yoda. So our method will be one of comparison. Let's take a normal pug. A normal pug isn't wearing any additional outfit or layers. This normal pug has only its own skin. But the pug in question seems to be wearing a costume, additional layers. Through comparison, we can see that it is true that this dog is dressed up. Now we need to determine whether this dog is dressed up like Yoda specifically. Again, we can probably agree that a simple comparison will help us discover the truth or falsity of the claim. So we will compare our dog to Yoda. In each instance, we have the existence of long green ears, a cape, and a little brown jumpsuit underneath. It seems that the owner of this dog attempted to make this dog look like Yoda. So we can agree that our method of comparing our dog to other things yielded a discovery of truth. We can now affirm that our method yielded that it is true that our dog is dressed up like Yoda. Let's move on to the third criteria. In the event of disagreement, one person must be wrong. This is a fairly simple criteria in most instances. Let's say that person number 1 says, "This dog is dressed up like Yoda." And person number 2 says, "No, it's not." Can both of these people be correct at the same time? Can the dog, at the same time, both be dressed up like Yoda and not dressed up like Yoda? Probably not. In this instance, either person number 1 or person number 2 must be incorrect. With objective claims, there is no room for disagreement about the truth or falsity of the claim. If disagreement does occur, that means one person is incorrect. We can see more complicated instances of this, such as claims like evolution of humans from primates is true. People might disagree about whether people evolved from primates. However, someone in that debate must be incorrect. Either it is true that humans evolved from primates, or it is not true that humans evolved from primates. But both people cannot be correct, and that's the important distinguishing characteristic here. So now we know "this dog is dressed up like Yoda" is an objective claim. It has a truth value. We were able to agree upon a method of discovering the truth. And when two people disagreed, one of those people had to be incorrect. Let's see how that differs from subjective claims. Subjective claims fail all three criteria. They do not have truth values. There is no agreed upon method of determining the truth, because truth, in the objective sense, does not exist. And people frequently disagree without anyone being incorrect. In fact, we expect disagreement with subjective claims. Let's take our original subjective claim. "This dog is adorable." You might say, "But wait, this dog is adorable. I agree with that. Isn't it objective?" No. Agreement does not make subjective claims magically objective. With subjective claims, what we are dealing with is matters of preference, or taste, or inclination, individual likes and dislikes. Agreement simply means that people happen to have similar tastes, or similar preferences. Subjective claims also have no agreed upon method for determining truth. Let's try to take our claim about the dog being adorable and see if we could come up with a method for determining whether that claim is true or false. Most introductory students in critical thinking propose taking a poll. Well, wait, couldn't we just survey people? And if most people agree, then it must be true? No, unfortunately, that method won't work. Why? Instead of actually getting an objective truth, all we would find out from a poll is how many people agree with the statement. We wouldn't actually find out whether the statement itself is true. So in polling people about the adorable dog, all we would find out is how many people agree that the dog is adorable. We wouldn't find out whether the dog actually is adorable. We would find people with similar tastes in dogs. We would find people with similar ideas about what constitutes adorable, but we wouldn't actually find out whether the dog, in and of itself, independent of people's opinions, is adorable. Lastly, with subjective claims, we expect disagreement. Let's say person 1 says that is a really cute dog, and person 2 says, no, I don't think so. In this case, we wouldn't say that either of these people is incorrect. We would just say they happen to disagree. And we expect disagreement about matters of personal preference or taste. Why? Well, personal preference, taste, and individual likes and dislikes are usually defined by people's histories, their experiences, their cultures. And so we know that there will be significant disagreement about these things. And that's perfectly fine. So subjective claims fail to meet the three criteria that objective claims must meet. Hopefully you better understand the difference between objective and subjective. Good luck on the following exercises.